Listen up, guys. It's not nothing about nobody else right now. It's about us. It's our chance. It's our time. Do your part. Everybody play a part today. Last year was last year. This shit over. Make your own identity. Make something different.
Yeah, I'm about to step in the ring for the fight of my life. Hit my knees and I strap on my gloves. Boy, I've been prepping since like I was.
Welcome, everyone, to the latest edition of the Alvin Parker Coaches Show. I'm Sean Robertson. Great to have you with us on YouTube as well as VUU's athletic website. This is a really big show this week. We always say that, but this is a really big show. Why? Because the Panthers will play for 11 this Saturday. They are the Northern Division champs. If you forgot, and I'm surprised if they did, because there was almost 16,000 people at Hovey, a record crowd at the stadium to see Virginia Union win the CIAA North over Virginia State 30-20. They win the North. They play Fayetteville State in the championship game. We'll talk about that. And we got some special dignitaries coming up in our, I guess, the dignitary lounge. We always call it the Players Lounge. That'll change, and we'll talk more about that in a minute. But first, we're going to introduce our head coach of Virginia Union, Dr. Alvin Parker, champs of the Northern Division. That has a pretty good ring to it, right?
Sound pretty good.
You're first as a head coach at your alma mater, so that's a little more special for you.
Definitely. There's only one thing that sounds better than that.
I know.
So,
we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about that.
We'll take it.
We were talking about it before the show, and just the atmosphere. We talked about it last week. Probably no game in this rivalry had so much hype and anticipation than the one on Saturday, and everybody came out. Richmond, Ettrick, Chesterfield County, Midlothian, probably North Carolina, Norfolk, everywhere to get to see this game, and it lived up to the hype.
I've seen about 20 guys I hadn't seen in 20 years. Guys that I played with back in the day, it was so great to see everybody come out. That was the biggest thing, to the tune of 15,000 plus. Like you said, I don't know how we squoze them all in there, but it was
we found a way.
It was good. Didn't turn down anybody. Everybody that wanted to come came. So it was a great feeling, and to do it in front of everybody. The home crowd, the alums, the fans, everybody that just kind of been supporting us all season. And the entire time I've been here, so I was extremely happy to see that.
And I know you mentioned that when we talked after the game, it was like you wanted to do it for the people that gave back to this program. They deserved an opportunity to see this team play for a championship, deserving the opportunity to win the division championship. And the guys came out again. Opening drive, went right down the field, got the touchdown. Christian Reed played a great game. We always talked about Jada, but for him to throw 4 touchdown passes to 4 different receivers and kind of got State off balance where they couldn't necessarily pack the box and dared them to throw it, he surely did.
I thought we came in with a solid game plan. I thought the coaches did an awesome job of kind of going through the week. First thing first, you had to make sure the guys just didn't get, too high for the moment. Just kind of do what you've been doing. And I think we did a good job of doing that. And those guys did an excellent job of following the game plan. Like anything else, it don't go all the way right.
Right.
But they did enough of it right to make sure that we got that victory. And they played their hearts out. So every game, from the second half of the season has been kind of like a playoff game for us. So in terms of it, we knew we had to win. And those guys did it. I think, we went down the stretch and we averaged winning by probably about 2 to 3 scores, every game. So those guys did, played a heck of a season on that bottom half, and they just put it together the whole season. They kind of knew what the mission and the goal was at the start, and they followed and carried it out. And that's why we are where we are now.
I think we touched on it a couple of weeks ago about the game against Morehouse, because that was on a national stage and there was so much hype about Union being on that platform, showing the entire country the Union brand. Do you feel that probably played a little bit of a difference in preparing for this game because of the hype and the buildup of the game? And you guys had kind of gone through that at the beginning of the season with Morehouse in the Hall of Fame Classic in Canton.
Yeah, I mean, that was a NFL stadium with about 15,000 in it. And you're talking about Hovey Stadium with 15,000 in it. So of course it was the same type of feeling.
Yeah.
For our guys, a national TV game. All the build up. But again, starting the season, we still we're a little bit trying to find a little bit of our identity. Those guys wanted to be different than what we had in the past. So then they did a lot of things different. on a different type of trajectory. So we're still finding out a little bit about ourselves, But when you get to week 10, you got to know who you are, And I think we knew who we were on Saturday.
And I think to me, the difference with last year's team to this year's team, I feel, was that stretch when you didn't play Jada. You had an opportunity, and you said we were deep in offensive line. We're going to be deep in the running back room, but we got to see Christian, RJ step up. We got to see those other running backs play well, and the onus wasn't on Jada the whole time. You felt comfortable, and your group felt comfortable that we can win games no matter what the style points look like. We can win games without him, and you were able to do it. Now, unfortunately, he took the injury, and you said that you didn't want him to have that, but you got to see guys step up to the plate in that role, and it kind of showed throughout the course of the year. We don't necessarily need to have a 200-yard game from Jada. Christian can throw 4 touchdowns. DB can give me over 100 yards receiving. Defense can play well, and it seemed like it all came together in that 5-game stretch in the division.
Well, when you talk about, play for 11, you talk about, all 11 have a job to do that's out there. So no matter who's one of the 11 out there, you have a job to do, and we expect you to do it at the highest level. And all those guys take a personal commitment to that. You know what I'm saying? So, when we got down that stretch, like I said, those 3 games that Jada was out, the production didn't change. And guys did what they're supposed to have done because they know that's part of play for 11.
And you didn't hear a lot from it's when you have somebody like Jada that takes the spotlight. You don't hear a lot of chatter about why is it just Jada. You emphasize play for 11. They go by that credo. They go by that motto, and it showed. It showed. Nobody is going to be upset because one guy that maybe gets a little more of the spotlight than the other.
I think Jada has earned everything he's gotten, and I think our team understands that. You know what I'm saying? So it's easy to play with a guy like that, and he's everybody's biggest fan.
No question.
If you ever watch him on the sideline, it takes some time to do it. He celebrates everybody. So of course when he gets in there, he does his job and does his part for play for 11. But
no question.
In terms of everybody else, he celebrates everybody else. So it's easy, for guys to do their part when it comes to a guy like that.
And you were celebrating too. If you go on YouTube, you get to see Coach doing his little dance after he got the Gatorade bath at the end of the game. And there is reason to celebrate. Virginia Union, CIAA North champs. They will play that 11th week. They've been talking about it all year. They get the 11th week against Fayetteville State in the conference championship game this coming Saturday. We'll talk more about that with Coach Parker in our final segment. As I said, coming up next, we have our dignitaries, 2 strong dignitaries here at Virginia Union. We'll talk with them about Virginia Union winning the championship and maybe some more with VU Athletics as the Alvin Parker Coaches Show continues right after this.
The styles you want, the brands you love, with the service you deserve. Better Menswear. From formal to casual wear, we carry quality men's clothing at sensible prices, where fashion and service meet affordability. That is Better Menswear.
We're back here on the Alvin Parker Coaches Show. I mentioned we have dignitaries here. It's not the Players Lounge segment. It is the Dignitaries Lounge segment as we have the president of Virginia Union, Dr. Hakeem Lucas, joining us this week, as well as the athletic director of Virginia Union, Coach Joe Taylor, who's won a few championships in his career. I see one. Is that the Hall of Fame ring or the championship? One of the championship rings?
Hall of Fame.
Hall of Fame ring. Yeah. But he knows what it's like to win a championship over at Hubby Stadium. Guys, gentlemen, thank you for joining us here on this special edition of the Alvin Parker Coaches Show.
Our pleasure. Thank you.
Now, both of you were on the sideline Saturday to see Virginia Union win the championship. What was the immediate reaction for you guys when Union won it and claimed the Northern Division Championship?
Well, it's just so great. First of all, Sean, thank you for all that you do in support of our program. But just to see the young men out there just enjoying their experience, final man spirit, also there you find him. And for them to put in all the hard work, see the coaches celebrating, and in front of a sold-out crowd, it just doesn't get any better. And to see that, it just shows, again, hard work does not go unnoticed. And just so proud to be a part. And Dr. Lucas, it's whatever we do is because of that strong leadership. And the only thing I'm taking credit for is for him to allow me to be smart enough to hire Dr. Parker, because certainly he's done a great job.
And I saw Dr. Lucas a lot during the game. He was walking the field, even made it to VSU side. I kind of pointed at you in the sense of, wait a minute, wrong time, right? But you had to do your tour around the state. But I know you had to be over the moon with what those guys did Saturday.
Well, I mean, I first joined VP Taylor and Coach Parker, and thanking you, Sean, for just your consistent support in monsoons and in sunshine, and in all those things, for the show, and to all of the fans. Really, thank you for it. It's clear, and it is no surprise that I prayed for that moment. I prayed that Saturday would be what it was, and I think the powerful thing about prayer and meditation is that God will sometimes give you even more than you prayed for. To, as you said, to walk the stands, people. If you weren't there, it's just electrifying. Everybody talked about Gold Bowl back, and I think it was just the spirit of the place. To see, Virginia State mad, to see Virginia Union happy. That's what we prayed for. But even from our Trojan fans, it was a consensus. You all deserved it. You all earned it. No one got nasty. We even lingered around afterward talking. And President Abdullah and the coaches to the band directors. I mean, it's just a close family and camaraderie, even in the midst of somebody having to win and lose. But I think what I respect about this year is that everybody said we deserved it. It's not easy to always be a private university, particularly HBCU, and having to manage resources to provide everything we need. So when a Coach Parker, when a team like the football squad we have this year, the team of coaches, the VP, the staff, gets experience the winning. I mean, it shows the seriousness that we have when we talk about Championship City. I was a proud just fan. And just, I will never forget two things. One, I'll never forget watching Coach Dr. Parker sprint across that stage doing his Heisman run, y'all. Go to YouTube and see it. And just the jubilation and watching him let go of 6 years of anticipation, of hard work, of a lot of disappointment. I mean, to be runners up for 3 years in a row is not easy. But I always say, I cheered for Dr. Abdullah in 2017.
When they beat Fayetteville down there,
I cheered for Dr. Bro in 2018. I cheered for Dr. Bro in 2019. COVID took our cheer away. I cheered for Dr. Bro again in 2021 and cheered for Dr. Allison in 2022. And now they get to cheer for me. So I'm excited about Salem.
And Coach, you know how hard it is to win one, more or less multiple championships at different institutions. Was that like I guess a proud papa moment for you on the sideline when you saw one of your own, Coach Parker, do that? He got to the mountaintop. He got that first, level, so to speak, to win that division championship on Saturday.
Well, and Sean, as you say, it's not easy. And coming in, Dr. Parker had a tall mountain to climb, because if you're going to be successful in anything in life, it starts with discipline. That had eradicated. There were issues, there were challenges. But I told a young man the first day we introduced him that you all are fortunate. Every day you're going to have the opportunity to listen, sit and listen to a person who has the blueprint for building himself, which means he's probably got the capacity to build you. So you are fortunate. And to see that discipline take place, and, it's not easy being a coach because everybody thinks they can coach. And the more inebriated, the better of a coach they are. All right? They're going to tell him what needs to happen. But to stay focused and maintain that standard, the fruits of the labor is right here. We see it. And we are fortunate to have it.
And he's preached it since last year, probably, when the game against Juwan, just play for 11, play for 11. It's been echoed around campus. It's been echoed around Hubby Stadium all year. And the fact that it's been talked about so much and they follow through to get to that 11th week to play for a championship says a lot about him and the staff, that the players bought in, followed the lead, and executed the game plan.
And that's the key that you said. They have bought in. They understand it. In fact, most of the time you ask them questions, and they'll repeat, play for 11. Yep. And I'm going to ask that when Doc comes back, that he really needs to explain what all that means. It's not some little cute numbers, right? But they actually have a mantra. This is what we are. And there's one of those shirts he's got on there that talks about do your part for 411. So just have him to explain all that, because again, it's all about, and of course we talked about finish.
Yes.
We felt like a couple of years ago, especially last year, we probably was one game short. And we had a meeting in August with all of the student athletes and performers. And we said our theme for the year is finish. Now, that's just not competitively. Finish your class, finish your homework, finish the weight room, finish the practice. Get in the habit of finishing, and hopefully it'll translate to game day.
And I know you gentlemen will be there Saturday on the sidelines roaming.
I'm on my way as soon as this is over.
Absolutely.
I tell you, Sean, we can say it on and on and on and on and on, and he's gotten many awards, but just to watch Coach Parker every day, I mean, I think, one day he'll have his own prime, video, and you'll be able to see it. But just a great man of character, just a great man of hard work, and, never gets too down about the loss and never too high about the win. And I know everybody's going to talk about all these numbers and the importance of numbers in history. And, Jim will pour everything into our mind. But, as the 13th president, it's important for me because, the last private HBCU to win a CIAA championship was Shaw in 2010. And so this is the 13th year since a private HBCU has won the CIAA. So 13 and 11 are like conspiring this season to birth it. And, win, lose, or draw. And of course, we're praying for a win. But we're already winners because we know that not only this year do we look good, but I just already feel like we're going to be back next year. And so I'm just excited.
I mean, the cupboard is not bare, to say the least, for next year. Gentlemen, thank you. It is a pleasure to talk to you again here in this setting. And we look forward to seeing you guys in Salem this weekend.
Well, thank you so much. Always a pleasure.
All right. And Coach Taylor teased our last segment. We're going to talk to Coach Parker about the championship and the explanation for Play for 11. That's more in detail when we talk to Coach Parker right after this short break.
Football is more than a game. It's a legacy built by trailblazers who paved the way for the next generation. I remember the doubters, but I refuse to let anyone define my limits. To the game changers who came before us and to the ones who are yet to step into the field, keep pushing boundaries, keep breaking records, and keep leaving your mark.
Back for our final segment of the Alvin Parker Coaches Show. Again, big thanks to President Dr. Hakeem Lucas and also the athletic director at Virginia Union, head coach, I can still call him head coach, Coach Joe Taylor. They will be at Salem. You'll see them at Salem Stadium this weekend because it's Play for 11 week. This is the 11th week for Virginia Union playing Fayetteville State. Yes, it's the rematch of the tropical storm game that happened at Hubby Stadium. Happened to be Union's only loss of the year, so of course, guys are focused, tunnel vision on the task at hand. They wanted Virginia State and Fayetteville State last 2 days. They probably didn't say it publicly or towards us, but that was a milestone. We got Virginia State, we got Fayetteville State back to back. Now we can talk about it. Fayetteville State, the rematch. Before we talk about the game, Coach Taylor wanted me, I guess, to tease to further explain the emphasis of Play for 11 and where did that all come about?
Well, it was kind of, I brought it with me when I came, kind of made it up kind of just for, the time that I came to Union, so, and at the beginning, some of the things that you always talk about is championships and things like that. And I knew the history because, again, I played in it. And some of those championships, that have been here, I've been a part of, so it was easy for me to kind of put that portion together. So talking about the championships, we got 10 championships in school history. Technically 11, but we got 10 on the books for the CIAA, and we're playing for the 11th one. So that's kind of was the first portion of it, and then that championship happens in week 11. So when it happened in week 11, we're playing for week 11. And the next portion of that, is that everybody have a job to do, and football is one of those sports that all 11 guys have to do their job, for the play to work or for you to have some type of success. So do your part, and make sure you do your job when you get out there. That's the next portion of Play for 11. Then the final portion is kind of, talks about how I lead, and that kind of goes to Proverbs 4:11. I will lead you in the ways of wisdom and direct you along straight paths. And I think it's my job to do that for all the guys that are placed under me, for everybody, and I call myself the leader of this program. So, everybody that plays in the program or has a part of the program, it's my job to lead them.
When people in the media, us in the media, call a head coach a player coach, sometimes it's viewed in a negative light. If I say you are a player's coach, is that a fair definition of you here at Virginia?
I think the guys would say that, but I think they will also say, make sure you do it right.
Right.
Because if it's not right, Coach Parker's not gonna like it. I'm a player's coach when you're doing it right. And that's everything. When you're doing school right, when you're socially right, and when you're playing right, they'll say that. But in terms of just of it all together, I think you have to be. This is coaching is a labor of love.
Yes.
And you have to love what you do. Not only love what you do, but you have to love the people that you're doing it with. And I have to love these guys. Sometimes it's tough love, but it's love. Love my staff. Love everybody that's involved. You know what I'm saying? But the guys from the player side of things, they know, how much coach loves them, and I feel like they really, really love me. And I can tell, just the way they act. So, so they definitely do. So it's a labor of love, and I'm glad, that it's going the way it's going.
I know you mentioned last week you wanted the guys to embrace the moment because State's game was not a normal game. Everything was at stake. I'm assuming, and I don't like to assume all the time, but I'm assuming that the preference will be also with Fayetteville State. This is not another game. This is a chance to win a championship, the 11th championship in program history, and it's a chance to play in the playoffs because given your rankings as they came out earlier this week, Fayetteville is 6, you're 7. They take the top 7. So essentially, this is another winner-take-all event. Winner wins the championship, probably will get in, more than likely. Loser is probably out of the playoffs in this situation.
It is. And like I said, I think the build up of how the season's been going, these guys have played in big games, I believe, so get to this one, it's another one. You can't really tell, a guy, well, this is not going to be a big game, it's going to be a regular game when it has championship attached to it. So, everybody know what it is. And we've been working hard this week to make sure that, we're able to take a good product on the field on Saturday, but I'm trusting in our process, and I think the guys have. I can't tell those guys to trust the process. I think all of us have to trust the process, and everybody's done that. this whole season, all the way back to, when we reconvened this thing, at the beginning of the year. Everybody's really, really trust the process of what we were doing here. And now, like Coach said, you're really getting to see the fruits of the labor.
As you're preparing for this matchup, do you even look at the game back in September during the tropical storm, or do you even say, yes, we do? We know what we did, and we will definitely change it. I guess because both teams are so different than that game, and also the weather playing a significant role in that as well.
I mean, any form of competition that you have against somebody, no matter what the conditions were or anything like that, you definitely use that. You know what I'm saying? So, that has been used by us. But again, you see the type of team that they were, in week 4, they weren't that type of team in week 10. So you have to make sure, you watch everything and you kind of take, inventory of it all. But I think and more importantly, at this juncture, it's just kind of just trying to best us. We're here for a reason. So we have to maybe present the best us on Saturday, no matter what they're doing or how they're maneuvering. But that game definitely helps in terms of just kind of showing all guys some personnel stuff and how things may have went that game and things like that. But again, I think they're probably a little bit different of a team, just like we're a little bit different of a team than we were in week 4.
I wish you the best of luck down there, Salem. Represent as always, and hopefully we'll talk next week about a championship here at Virginia Union and Division II playoffs.
Let's talk about it.
All right. Head coach Dr. Alvin Parker with us on his show, the Alvin Parker Coaches Show. Again, the championship, it will be on the Griot. Check your local listings for the channel number and also where you can find it on your local cable operator. And we'll talk about that next week. Virginia Union and Fayetteville State. The winner wins the championship, goes to the playoffs, and hopefully we'll talk about that on next week's show. Again, thanks to head coach Joe Taylor, as well as President Dr. Hakeem Lucas. And thank you for joining us on YouTube and also on the VUU Athletics website. I'm Sean Robertson. Enjoy Championship Saturday with Virginia Union and Fayetteville State.
Like I was 7 and thing is I'm already covered in blood. Walking in love, this for the ones who've been stuck in the mud. Searching for hope. Trust me, I know what it feel like to drown in my problems, but God came and threw me the rope. Can't wait to look in his eyes. All of my life I've been battling lies. I found the truth and took off my disguise. Come for my head, I still live for the prize. Whoa, whoa, whoa. I was in the city going down, trying to blow. Everything changed when I learned to let it go.